could be America's first ever default moves closer. Negotiators worked until the morning, and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says they'll work until a deal is done.
Yeah, Jennifer, until then, lawmakers they'll head home for Memorial Day for the holiday. And tonight, Alice Barr is at the White House with the latest details.
With pressure mounting 1 week before the U.S. could default on its loans, President Biden insisting negotiations are ongoing while acknowledging the hurdles that remain.
Speaker McCarthy and I have a very different view of who should bear the burden of additional efforts to get our fiscal house in order.
That after fireworks on the floor as House Democrats pile blame on Republicans, accusing them of forcing the nation to the edge of default.
You've made a political calculation that you will be successful in 2024 if you crash the economy.
House Republicans already passed a bill to raise the debt ceiling, but it comes with steep spending cuts. They're standing firm that the Biden administration must agree to spend less this year than last.
We want to make sure we have an agreement that's worthy of the American public.
But without a deal in hand, Americans could start suffering real consequences. The top credit rating agency, Fitch Ratings, now warning it could downgrade the U.S. credit rating if a deal can't be reached by the Treasury Department's June 1st deadline. Financial markets jittery as investors watch for fallout.
All of these independent auditors, if you will, are worried that the United States, because of this brinksmanship, is not going to hold on to its reputation to pay its bills on time and in full.
A credit downgrade would quickly trickle down to everyday Americans, bringing even higher interest rates for bonds, mortgages, car loans, and credit cards. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Party leaders.
Hey, shalom, Makim, shalom. First thing and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the whole elect. News in the gospel, by lifting up the standard of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. Just a quick video on the debt ceiling. I haven't reached an agreement yet. The deadline is June 1st, 2023. But we know this is all BS in a certain degree. As far as when they're talking about negotiations and, raising the debt ceiling and all this other nonsense, which this is all being controlled by the elites. You have to realize that Esau Edom is controlling both sides of the narrative. Okay, though his dollar is weakening, the dollar is a very multi-dimensional talisman, I say it that way. And with that being said, even if the U.S. did default on the loans, etc., shit will happen. Hell will break loose. But even then, the American economy, as weak as it still have particular geo factors that will cause it to still undergo business, so to speak. Okay, because the debt does, in fact, if they do default, I believe they said it's like over 80 million jobs or some shit like that, something like that. Basically will be imminent. People's jobs will be an immediate threat, homes, mortgages, and etc. But that's already the case right now. Okay, and what they're doing is stalling out this debt, and they're stalling this shit out because when it comes to pass the MOTB, which we know is the market of beasts, and these particular global infrastructures that's set up to house a digital dollar, that's when they're gonna start crash coursing. Okay, as far as June 1st, who knows? They may reach an agreement, which a lot of times and avoid, shutdowns and defaults. Slovakia. They come up with the grievances at the last minute, but then it affects everybody else because, like they stated, if they do pass some type of budget or some type of spending, you better believe without a doubt it's going to affect the average American, man. Okay, the average peon, the average Babylonian out there, because for the simple fact you were the biggest consumers. Okay, so it says the latest on debt ceiling impasse. No deal yet, as the debt limit deal is still not yet close at hand, because you got about another, May 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. You got another 6 days, so roughly next Thursday. It says the debt limit deal is still not yet close at hand, and as the risk of first ever default grows. Both sides have said progress have been made in talks, but major differences remain unclear how quickly an agreement could come together. But what agreement? Who do you have an agreement with? Okay, the Saudis, the different people that's holding the dollar, etc. Or are you going between the Treasury okay, and the IMF to get this approval, because technically you don't have no approval to raise any fucking thing, to be honest with you, because you don't have the money to do so, and all the other nations are taking the reserves out of the dollar. So let's just get that straight. But see, that's the witchcraft of Esau Edom, because even if the other nations isn't vibing with this decision making to raise the debt, they're gonna do it anyway, which is gonna put them in furthermore of a default down the line, okay? Because you got third quarter, fourth quarter, and you still have those deadlines that they have to meet. So if they have to do budget cuts and budget spending, a lot of these programs are getting ready to be cut out, okay? They claiming like X amount of tax dollars for Medicaid, you know, X, Y, and Z. But even then, with that being said, the fucking Medicaid, it ain't, the money they taking out our checks ain't going to Medicaid, man. That's going to fund a damn war, okay? Because you got elderly people out here that still ain't getting full disability yet, man, okay? So that's folly. And when I look at my paycheck stuff, I'm paying probably $60, $70 more in Medicaid tax than I am in federal and state tax. So this is all smoke and mirrors at the end of the day. It will default, and they will bring in this new totalitarian system, okay? It says, how do they weekend with no bill to vote on? House lawmakers are leaving for the Memorial Day weekend, though they will be given 24 hours notice to return if the deal is reached. Okay? It says, hell no, GOP negotiators say Republicans won't drop demand for work requirements and deal to avoid default. And honestly, they need to just let this fucking place go. Let it default, let it crash and burn. But it's ultimately up to Yahweh Shemi Hawashai, because this will be the inevitable excuse to bring in an MOTB. Okay, like, hey, the Lord is full of surprises, man. You never know. Hey, he may just say fuck the CBDC shit, and they may go straight to microchip motherfuckers, man. Because, hey, Elon Musk basically got his brain rolling approved by the FDA, which we know the FDA is completely satanic. Okay, they're in league with Monsanto, DuPont. You know, they're in league with those particular companies. So if the FDA approves it, usually it's not good for you. Okay, though they have you to believe in the exact opposite of that effect, but usually if the CDC, not the Salaki, if the FDA approve of something, usually it's not good for consumption. I'll say it that way. But it says a GOP negotiator said that the House Republicans are not willing to drop work requirements on social safety net programs to get a deal on the debt ceiling. It reads, it says, this is a huge sticking point to avoid default. It says Republican Garrett Graves, Republican from Louisiana, said significant disagreements remain with the White House. But if you're really going to fall on the sword for that versus actually negotiating something that changes the trajectory of the country for spending, I mean, it's crazy to me that we're even having this debate, okay? But he has suggested the issue center on work rules for food stamps and temporary assistance programs for needy families, not Medicaid. It says the amount of money the Treasury has left to pay its bill changes daily, okay? Because technically it says as of Wednesday, the cash balance was just under $50 billion. But the day before, it was $76.5 billion, while last Thursday it was $57 billion. But even then, how can you pay your bills with money that's being devalued? Okay, so if you were in a $31 trillion deficit and you got $50 billion in cash bonds or whatever you want to call it, that's going to increase the debt, because for the simple fact you're spending money that have no value. So it's just canceling each other out, which is going to cause interest rates to go up, which the actual consumer is going to suffer from that. Okay. You know what's the hypocrisy about this all? It's like they're so quick to impede on us for being behind on credit card debt, taxes, but yet these fucking devils are behind $30-something trillion, and that's on paper. They're probably more like $400 trillion in debt, but yet they get every lifeline extended to them. But us, yeah, right, they coming to take our shit. It's hypocrisy, man. It's defrauding and it's usury at the end of the day. All right, so let's look up U.S. national debt. Oops, what the hell? U.S. national debt. Let's look at see what it says here. Debt clock, right? Now, this is supposed to be in real time as the debt of the current debt of the United States. So the national U.S. debt, $31,807,759,000,000, and I can't even go beyond that. Okay, U.S. federal spending, okay, $6,140,663,000,000, and it goes up. Okay, and you get the point. This is fucking debt, bro. They'll never be able to pay this back, and it's currently going up as we speak. Okay,
So this is the book of 2 Ezra 16, and I'm going to start at verses 36. Matter of fact, let's start at 35. It says, "Hear now these things and understand them, you servants of the Lord. Behold the word of the Lord. Receive it, believe not, receive it. Believe not the gods whom the Lord spake." Okay, don't believe in Baal. Don't believe in these particular prognosticators and these news and talking heads that you're seeing on CNN. With CNN is nothing but cap any goddamn way. But don't believe in that madness, man. Okay, because they're spinning the narratives, man. Okay, and they're basically spinning a narrative to formulate a deceptive plot for your thinking. Okay, it says, "Behold the word of the Lord, and receiving and believe not the gods whom the Lord spake. But behold, the plagues draw nigh." What plagues? Okay, the plagues that's coming upon the earth, the famine, the pestilence. They're talking about famine on biblical levels, man. All right, draw nigh and are not slack. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, within 2 or 3 hours of our birth, great pains can pass a womb. Which pains when a child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. So, as these prophecies come to pass, the contractions of the prophecies and the hell breaking loose is closer and closer, man. Like the scriptures that specify, when you know when a woman is getting ready to give birth to a child, because the contractions are more few in between. Okay, it says, "For they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth." So when the plagues hit, they gonna hit it once, and that's when the Most High is gonna deal a damaging blow to Babylon to the point they're not gonna have time to recover from. Like right now, they having these talks of economic shutdowns and government shutdowns and government spending. They're able to have these talking points for the simple fact because therefore the plagues is not hitting them all at once. So therefore they're able to have time to come up with the spending budget and X, Y, and Z. But when the famine come, when the economic crash come, when the particular pestilence and so forth hit the earth and hit this place all at once, they're not gonna have time to recover. Okay. And that's why it says, "Even so, not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth. The world shall mourn, and the sorrow shall come upon it on every side. But, oh, my people, hear my word and make you ready to the battle. And then those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth." Okay? Meaning we're going to have to move around. It says here, "He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. And he that occupieth merchandise as he that have not profit by it. And he that buildeth as he that should not dwell therein. And he that soweth as if he should not reap. So also he that planteth the vineyard as he that should not gather the grapes." Okay, "And they that marry as they that should get no children, and they marry not as the widowers. And therefore they that labor in vain." Okay, because it's all vanity at the end of the day. It has no merit to it. Okay, it has no prosperity to it. Technically, getting up and going to work and getting useless dollars is really a waste of your time, man. But the whole mindset and the trajectory behind it all, the witchcraft, people were hell-bent on making this society thrive. Oh, we got to go to work and get the bag. But if you knew that bag was empty, you wouldn't be taking your ass to work every day to labor for nothing. Okay, but that's the witchcraft among the mindset of the people, the greenback. Okay, and that shit is getting ready to be totally null and void because they're getting ready to bring in this cashless-based system, which will lead to the mark of the beast, man. Okay, and we got faith in that, and we know that I'm 144% sure that the MOTB is the RFID chip, and I'm willing to put money on that. All right, Isaiah 19, and I'm gonna start at verses 14. "The Lord have meagered a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and have caused Egypt to earn every word thereof, as a drunken man and staggered in his vomit, because all work, everything from the least to the greatest is straight corruption, man. From the jobs you fucking work, the women you're having sex with, to the children you have, it's all corrupted, man. Everything. Okay, from the woman you got in your bed with you, to the apple you got on your fucking dining room table, to the stale ass Wheaties you got on top of your goddamn refrigerator, it's all perverseness, man. Okay, and it says, "Neither should there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail or branch or rush may do." Okay, meaning there's gonna be a total global collapse. All right, which is set up by the elites, but ultimately through Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, because they got to push the MOTB. It says, "In that day, Egypt should be like unto women, and should be afraid and fear, because the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he's shaking over it," man. Okay, so this shit is getting ready to go down. All right, but anyway, this was just a quick lesson. Got a meeting to go to, giving our praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And with that, shalom and a ball. Shalom.